My name is Tiffany Hillman. I'm a raw vegan and a personal trainer, and I'm here at my home in sunny Phoenix, Arizona, and welcome to my kitchen. So what I'm going to share with you today is one of my very favorite recipes, a recipe for kale chips. But there are two things I want to warn you about before we get started. The first thing is that this recipe is not a low-fat recipe. There are some low-fat recipes online that you can find. Mine is not. So please keep that in mind when you make these chips. Think about what you're eating throughout the day and make sure that you're not ODing on the fats that you have. Now the fats that I'm using for this recipe are amazing fats, and they have a lot of great benefits. So keep that in mind as well. The second thing is something I was warned about when I first searched for a kale chip recipe, and I really didn't believe the warning. The warning is that they're addictive. These chips are extremely addictive. Again, keep that in mind. Eat them cautiously, and be careful of what you're eating throughout the day when eating them. Always doing more cardio is also good as well, so I highly suggest that too. So, the ingredients in mine, I have about 8 ingredients in my kale chips. First of all, I try to find the biggest bunches of organic kale that you can find. So 4 big bunches of kale. We're going to use the juice of a half a lemon, 1/3 cup of namashoyu, a half a cup of coconut oil, unrefined, virgin, and organic. We use about 1/3 cup of sriracha, a half a cup of raw tahini, and about 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar, and 1/3 cup of minced garlic. So, the first thing that you want to do is to wash your kale thoroughly. And what I usually do, you can be a little bit more meticulous if you'd like when preparing the kale, but what I usually do is just tear it off the vine just like that, into pieces, just like that. And that's what I've done here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to prepare our marinade. So here again I have the lemon juice, namashoyu, the virgin coconut oil, sriracha. Sriracha is a spicy chili sauce, but I will warn you, raw vegans, that it is not raw. It is vegan, but not raw. Now the one that I purchased is the one with the rooster on the front, sriracha hot chili sauce. Be careful when you're buying sriracha, because I do have noticed in the past that there are srirachas out there. They're not all equal, because some do have fish oil in there. So just make sure that you check your ingredients, but you can't go wrong with the one with the rooster on the front. So now I'm going to add our half a cup of tahini. And our half a cup of apple cider vinegar. Now garlic. I use an awful lot of garlic. I have minced 1/3 cup of garlic. So, you use what you want. This recipe is just a guide for you. I tried a whole bunch of different recipes before I actually narrowed it down to this one, and I hope you'll do the same. So just use it as a guide. If you'd like to use more garlic or less garlic, you feel free. Alright, so now I'm just going to whisk that together until it turns a nice creamy orange salmon color. Also, sometimes when preparing my kale chips, I add nutritional yeast. I just happen to be out today, and I usually add about 1/3 cup of nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast has some amazing B vitamins that we could all use. Now, when I talked about the fat content of this, again, there are a lot of fats. Initially, I was using olive oil instead of the coconut oil, and then I thought about all the benefits. Now, there are a lot of benefits for cold-pressed organic olive oil, but the amount of benefits that you can get from coconut oil is just unbelievable. It's amazing for your thyroid, very good for your kidney, excellent for digestion. It's antifungal, and it helps with vitamin absorption. Now the tahini is packed. There are a lot of other benefits of tahini, but the one thing that I love about tahini and why I try to eat it or add it into recipes when I can is because of it's packed with calcium. as well as our kale. So this really is a vitamin-packed treat. You got the live enzymes in the namashoyu as well as in the apple cider vinegar. And when you're purchasing apple cider vinegar, I suggest getting the one with the mother. That's the one that I'm using. So what I'm doing now is I'm adding in the kale, and I'm just massaging the kale into the marinade. And by massaging it, you're kind of loosening up the molecules and using the heat from your hands to start breaking down the kale. Now, the best way to tell, because this is a hard recipe because not all bunches of kale, are large or small, some are medium. You're going to have to taste it, and you're going to have to go with the flavor. It should taste good right out the bowl. It should taste delicious right out the bowl. You could actually serve it as a salad with some tomatoes. You could actually do that. It's a little rich, but you could do that. It should taste that good. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I've been on my raw journey for over 5 years now. I kind of did it very slowly. I started off as a vegetarian and then went vegan. And vegetarian for about a half a year and then vegan. It just happened to be that way. Once I removed meat out of my diet, I was feeling pretty good, but my lactose intolerance was magnified. So that's why I went vegan. And my husband and I decided to do the Master Cleanse. And I personally don't think I would have been able to go 100% raw unless I did some type of cleanse. So we did the Master Cleanse for about 30 days. And once we came off the Master Cleanse, we went raw and have been raw pretty much ever since. And am loving it. Some of the benefits that I have found by going raw is I no longer have eczema, I don't have adult acne, I don't have any cramps. I think that it's slowed down the aging process. My digestion system has worked so much better now. I had a lot of problems digesting cooked food that I do not experience cooking when I eat raw food. So I love it. It's working for me. And although I don't think that it is for everyone. It is a little bit of a challenge. It does take some discipline, but the idea of adding raw foods into your diet, I think the benefits are immense. So, if you are in a standard American diet or you're thriving to eat better, this is a great treat. Now, if you do not have a dehydrator and you would like to use your oven, what I would suggest that you do is take a cookie sheet, line it with parchment paper, and put your oven to 350, and you're going to let it sit in the oven for about between 10 and 15 minutes, watching it closely because you want it to brown, but you don't want it to overcook. So you're going to watch it like a hawk, depending upon your oven, between 10 or 15 minutes. Now, as far as dehydrating goes, I start nibbling on the kale chips probably an hour in, because they start to taste good, and my husband and I eat around the edge. But if you can wait overnight, that's the best thing. But about 3 to 4 hours it should take to dehydrate. So my kale is nicely coated now. You can see it's nice and shiny, and you can see that it's on the darker side versus the kale that we have there. Now what I do from here is I take my dehydrator sheet with the mesh sheet on. We're just going to spread it across. You don't want to pile it on there, so you want to give it enough space to breathe. Just one little layer. Just like that. I'm going to give it a taste first. I should get to taste it. Yeah, it's delicious. Now you can, again, add more garlic, less spiciness. You play with it. You might want to, if you're sensitive to spicy food, you may want to go a little less on the sriracha. But I hope you enjoy these as much as I do, and I will have a video of the finished product. Bon appetit. Hope you enjoy. Thank you for joining me. Bye.